written little messages, and for each one of them, he asks you a question that is related to the subject matter that he's sharing. And this is Dale's copy. I keep a different kind of journal that I use every day to journal and write things that are important to me, things that I want to put into my speaking and training. But not only that, but those things that inspire me and help me grow to be more than I am today. Okay, there we go. The goals for this session, as always, is to help you realize your potential, to help you believe in yourself, and we'll talk a little bit about that today, to increase your level of success in your personal life as well as in your Shackley business, and to become intentional in your life and in your business. And today we're going to be talking about the law of the ladder, and I'm going to shut down my video here so I can give you a full screen. But the law of the ladder, well, before I go there, let me just give you a recap of where we've been and how we've gotten to this point. We've been through 8 of the 15 chapters, and today the law of the ladder is the 9th of the chapters. And the first one is that we talked about was the law of intentionality. In that intentionality is so important. In that growth doesn't just happen. For us to grow, we have to be intentional in all that we do, whether it's in our personal life, our spiritual life, our family life, and certainly in our business life as we work to grow our Shackley businesses to the level that you dream to take it. Then we talked about the law of awareness, that you must know yourself before you can grow yourself. But not only do you have to know yourself before you can grow yourself, you have to know yourself before you can grow others, which is so important in our business. Then we talked about the law of the mirror, and the law of the mirror says you must see value in yourself to add value in others. Then we talked about the law of reflection, and the law of reflection is where we take time to pause and allow our growth to catch up with us. Allow that which we are learning and that which we are growing in to catch up to where we are so we can use it as we move forward in our lifelong journey. And then we talked about the law of consistency, saying that motivation gets you going, but it's the discipline and the consistency of doing the things on a daily basis that keep you growing, and that discipline keeps you moving forward. Then we talked about the law of design. To maximize our growth, we have to develop strategies. And we've talked about a little bit about that Shackley has created a strategy, a plan for all of us to follow, and that we have to follow that plan if we're going to be successful in our Shackley business. That same principle applies to our lives, our spiritual lives, our family lives, and everything we do. You know, I said during that presentation that most people spend more time planning their vacations than they do planning their lives and where they're going to take their businesses. We also talked about the law of pain, in that when we have bad experiences, that we manage them, learn from them, and those experiences lead us to great growth. And then today, we're going to be talking about the law of the ladder. And the law of the ladder says that character growth determines the height of your personal growth. And then in John's book, he has a quote from Doug Fireball, easy for me to say, And it says this: achievement to most people is something you do. To the higher achiever, it is something you are. Character has been one of those things that has been paramount and instrumental in my success throughout my life. For those of you who have not been on the call before, and for those of you who have, let me just remind you, I spent 34 years in the Air Force. And while in the Air Force, there was this little blue book that we all received, and it was the Air Force core values. And those Air Force core values were simply this: that integrity is always first. Excellence is always important. And we always are in service to others. But to me, the most important of all of those core values is integrity. And that talks about our character. And my story there is pretty simple. When I was selected to go to the position as the chief of recruiting operations in DC to lead the Air National Guard recruiting program, there had been a breach of character by some of the leaders that were in positions at that time. They wanted to bring new leadership in, and the one thing that they wanted most was to ensure that those individuals had a high level of character, a high level of integrity, and they selected one of my very good friends to fill the retention position, and they selected me to fill the recruiting position. And it was our jobs to come in and change the direction that the organization was headed. And it began with the individual they put at the top, because everything rises and falls on leadership. And if you do not have the correct character, it is difficult for you to take an organization to the levels that it has potential to go. And so today, we're going to be talking about the law of the ladder. And I love this quote that's from John Maxwell: character growth determines the height of your personal growth. That if your character growth is not moving in the right direction, neither is your personal growth. And so today, this is the ladder, and this is where your personal growth should be. And you should be climbing that ladder with your character growth. We're all human beings, not human doings. And so we want to talk about the things that John calls is ambition without guidance creates tyranny. So if you have the great ambition, but you do not have the required character, then you can't get to where you need to go. To be successful, we have to think like a success. We have to believe in ourselves. And I love, if you've not ever read Dr. Shackley's Reflections on a Philosophy, what he says. He says, what you think, you look. What you think, you do. What you think, you are. So we have to think like a success. We have to think like we are at the top. He goes on to say, and I've marked up this book, and in chapter 2, he talks about thoughtsmanship. Thoughtsmanship is exactly about character. But the birthplace of success is in your inner consciousness, but you must plant that seed. Our inner consciousness is no respecter of person. Plant the seed of failure, and failure will be exposed or expressed. Plant the seed of success in your thinking, and success is assured. He goes on to say that following the thoughtsmanship plan may personify many changes in your life, but I assure you, the results will be worth the effort. Yes, worth the effort, but no greater than the effort. We get out of life exactly what we put into it, and our inner consciousness and the birthplace is the birthplace of success. So we have to think success. John Maxwell talks about how successful people think in a great little book that he has written, and it gives lots of things about successful thinking. And one of the things that I picked out of that is that we have to think about the big picture. And the big picture of success starts with our character. The value of our character is so important. We cannot be successful if our character is not. Norman Schwarzkopf, former general and leader of the Desert Storm, Desert Shield campaign, said this. He said that 99% of leadership failures are failures of character. And so are 99% of all other failures. They all fall from poor character judgment. So as we said, character judgment determines the height of our personal growth. And that is the law of the ladder. But there are other things that we need to consider as it relates as we think about climbing the ladder. We're not talking about the everyday things. We are talking about the rungs of the character ladder and the things that will force us to be better. In the first one, it says that character matters, that we should focus more on the inside than on the outside. So what's in your heart? What's in your thinking? Our character represents who we are on the inside. And we need to focus on being better on the inside. If you remember the book by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, it's also a proverb that says that we think, as we think in our hearts, so we become. So it's about what's on the inside. Our inside character helps us become better on the outside. And those inside victories, those things that we overcome internally, will always precede those outside victories. If you'll do those things you need to do when you need to do them, then someday you can do the things you want to do when you want to do them. Gosh, I am so reminded every time I teach this about Jim Rohn's The Law of Diminishing Intent. If we fail in our character, the law of diminishing intent is a part of that. You know, the law of diminishing intent says that if we fail to do the things we need to do now, chances are we'll never do them. If we don't improve our character daily, then our character will remain wherever it is at this point in time. It's about growth. It's about growing our inside so that our outside will grow along with it. It's all in our own control. Everything is about what we choose to do. The next one is people matter. It's very simple. We need to follow the rule. A friend of mine has put up a hashtag people matter. He also has a hashtag you matter. You know, the golden rule is simple. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's a character building process. And then passion matters. I will teach only what I believe. I could not teach this information. I could not share the information from John Maxwell's books or any of the other material that I use if I did not believe it. It's about passion, and passion matters. You have to have your own belief. You can't use other people's beliefs to develop your passion. It's about our own core values. It's about our own core beliefs, not somebody else's. We're responsible. It's about taking care of others. We've all heard this because the world is made up of others. It's not about us. Perspective matters. I will value humility above all virtues. Humility is perhaps one of those things that I can look back and say, I wasn't very humble in my early days. In fact, I know, and I was reflecting on that as Dale and I walked today, that one of my number one character flaws in my younger days was I was interested in one person and one person only. And it was, yes, you guessed it, it was me. But as I've grown and matured and as I've learned and developed my character, I have become to realize the value of being humble and that taking care of others in that way has allowed me to grow and become more successful. In life, one can never stop. They either finish or they keep going. Some things that I want to share with you as it relates to this is that we must be teachable when we think about this virtue. We have to understand that everyone, including us, has weaknesses. We have to have a bigger mindset. Think globally. Be willing to serve others. Is that not what our business is about? It's about serving others. Always be grateful. Faithfulness matters. I will strive to finish well because faithfulness matters. In life, one can never stop. Our character is being developed until we are finished. The stronger your character, the greater growth potential you have. Jack Canfield said this. Successful people maintain a positive focus in life no matter what is going on around them. They stay focused on their past successes rather than their past failures and on the next action step they need to take to get them closer to the fulfillment of their goals rather than other distractions that life presents to them. They focus on being fulfilled and faithful to their journey and to their character building and character growth. So as you think about where your character is and how it impacts you from a personal standpoint, from your personal growth journey, from how it impacts your business life and your business journey, I would ask you to focus on some specific steps to help you on this journey. Assess where you are. Assess where you have placed most of your growth energy up to now in your life. Has it been on the inside or has it been on the outside? How much time do you spend the things of the outside and how much time on the inside? I challenge you to schedule specific time for developing that inside, that humility, that character, seeking others first, and family importance. Think about this idea. There are many decisions one must make before they have to, or they will make the wrong one. There are many decisions we must make before we have to. And lastly, explore this truth. Emergencies don't develop character, they reveal character. And all you have to do is watch the news and see what's happening around us to understand the character and the value of some of those that we see that call themselves leaders. Where are you as a leader? Where are you in your personal growth? Where are you in creating a successful and thriving and growing Shackley business? Character matters, and you matter. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I would open up the, if you would like to be promoted to a panelist, you can raise your hand and they will open it up so that you can share or chat.